husband and I were financially well off in 2019. Stuff turned sour in 2020 when I became jobless after having to homeschool our kids. Couldn't afford the rent. We got evicted 6 months later. My mother-in-law, who offered us 2 bedrooms, backed out as soon as we became homeless, and we ended up living out of our van for 4 months with our kids before a homeless shelter opened up. During said time, mother-in-law had very little contact with us. Sister-in-law was also tense from us asking to come over to her house to shower, despite us offering payment. We were looked at like we were scum because we were over the age of 30, had 3 kids, and didn't have our crap together. We were told how we were going about life all wrong, and that if we had planned better, we wouldn't be in this situation. Coming from sister-in-law mostly, who was given her house after her father died and hadn't paid taxes in 4 years. Fast forward, we were able to get back on our feet times 10. We built a house from scratch with our kids and gained a crap ton of experience for all of us. It came out perfect. The kids are ecstatic because they built their own house. We're happier than ever. We even started our own business. We did this together without help from any of his family, despite their promises, and I will admit that I grew a nasty taste in my mouth about the whole lot of them, despite the end result turning out the way it did. Well, mother-in-law is down and out currently. She was moved to part-time employment due to her slow-paced work style. Her retirement was taken away apparently after the government stripped it from them, and will likely be evicted soon, as she has already received 2 notices and a lease termination letter. She came here yesterday afternoon and asked us if she could stay here if she became evicted. I will admit that my first reaction was to outright laugh at her and her audacity. She looked immediately offended and uncomfortable, especially after I stated that there wasn't a chance of that happening. My husband just stood beside me with his arms crossed, glaring at his mother, as he is very resentful of her allowing her grandchildren to live out of a van and homeless shelter after promises had already been made. Anyways, she left crying after saying the situation was entirely different. Sister-in-law, however, called us later and said that we were ducking trash for not allowing her soon-to-be evicted elderly mother to move in. My only response was that a nursing home just opened up down the street, and she can go there. However, a few friends say it was kind of mean. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. People don't get to treat you like trash and expect to get things from you. It sucks, but she's grown and can figure it out. Mean? Yes, but not the a-hole. I always wonder how people have the audacity to run back to the ones they turned their back on. What was she even expecting? Not the a-hole. What goes around comes around. You're actually lucky that she turned her back on you, because now she can't walk over that burned bridge and back into your lives. My husband and I just bought our first home together. We've been together for 10 years but got married earlier this year. We finally bought a house after years of saving. It's a 2-story house with a converted attic. The attic is fully insulated and protected, has AC heat, its own bathroom and bedroom. If it weren't on the attic floor, you'd never know it used to be the attic. It's also the largest and most quiet bedroom in the house. The second floor has 1 small bedroom and 2 very small bedrooms. The first floor is where the master bathroom is. My husband and I have 2-year-old twins. We put them in the 2 smallest bedrooms and took the first floor master for ourselves. My husband has a daughter, Tina, from his first marriage. I love Tina very much. Like a lot of children of divorce with step-parents, Tina and I have always been strained. I try to let her know that I'm here without crowding her. We're cordial but strained. I wish Tina liked me, but it doesn't stop me from trying. She's now 15, was 4 when her dad and I got together. Her mom and he were divorced long before I met him. I wasn't the reason for their divorce. Anyway, considering that the 3rd floor bedroom is the most private and quiet, we thought Tina would like it for herself. Because of how insulated it is, my husband and I couldn't take it since we wouldn't be able to hear the babies. And the 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor are so small we couldn't bunk the twins. There'd be no room to move. One day we hope to renovate and add some room to that floor, but right now it isn't possible. When we showed Tina her new bedroom in our house, she flipped out. She accused me of hating her, wishing she didn't exist, how this attic bedroom was my way of banishing her, accused me of being the evil stepmother. Her dad tried to intervene, and Tina said some mean things to him. Then she called her mom and asked to be picked up. In the weeks since, Tina has refused to come back over, refuses to see me or her siblings, and she's always loved her siblings. Her dad and I, her mom and stepdad, we've all tried to talk to her, but Tina refuses to listen or even just tell us what she's feeling. She says she hates me and that's that. Her mom has been great through this, but a couple weeks ago, she suggested her dad and I take a step back and let Tina have some time to make up her own mind. In the meanwhile, she would try to help us. Her dad and I will still try and call her a couple times a week. We both text her often, so we haven't stopped trying, but we are giving her space. When pressed, all Tina will say is it's about that attic bedroom. It's a nice bedroom. We never would have put her in that room if we thought it would hurt her feelings. It was just a bedroom to us. Am I an a-hole for putting my stepdaughter in the attic bedroom? Not the a-hole. I wish I had an attic bedroom when I was 15. She's being an a-hole, but a typical teenage a-hole. The bedroom is just what she has latched onto as the problem, but it's probably something else, or a myriad of things. She may not even know herself. Maybe your husband can try to talk to her in a neutral location. Seems like her emotions are just bubbling over, and this is an excuse for her to vent. No a-holes. You had good intentions, but I understand how she feels. It probably felt like you guys were just disregarding her and putting her in the attic to make more room. I think you guys should have talked about it and asked her first. That's how teenagers are. They might not always process the situation rationally. Well, she starts off saying it's a great room, but in the comments it comes out the stairs are so narrow the mom can't get up there, and you can't hear because the heating pipes are so noisy. Sounds like they gave Tina the worst room in the house and didn't even consult her. Haha. My ex and I were married for 2 years before life threw a curveball our way. My ex from a previous relationship managed to find me, and I learned that I had a 4-year-old son. It was very hard on my ex-wife. The relationship with my son's mother was during a time when my ex-wife and I had been broken up for almost a year, so it's not like it was an affair, but was a reminder of a not-so-good time. It was also hard because we both had agreed to being child-free, and I couldn't not be in my son's life after learning about him. In the end, my decision to be a father and her desire to live a child-free life and not be anyone's step-parent led to our divorce, and it wasn't pretty. It's been over 3 years since then. My son lives with me, his mom, now my fiancé, and I reconciled our relationship 2 years ago. Currently expecting our second child, so life is busy. Things with my ex have not been well, and I know she still holds a lot of resentment for what happened. But recently, she asked me for help because her life has gotten worse and she has no one to turn to. Failed business due to the virus that screwed her over financially. Her family is in another country, so she can't stay with them, and she's stuck staying with cousins she can't stand. I know them and how awful they are. My ex told me I know she's desperate considering she's asking me for help, but she really needs a place to stay and willing to be civil around me, my fiancé, and our son. She wouldn't ask me for anything if she didn't have a choice pretty much, and won't cause us any trouble. But honestly for me, it just feels uncomfortable given how badly it ended, and before how she'd act whenever my son was around. Like she couldn't even look at him. I don't know, it just sounds bonkers, like a terrible idea. But she won't stop asking, and to at least do her this one kindness after everything that's happened. My fiancé says she'll support whatever I decide, even if I agree to help my ex, so that still has me unsure about what to do. I'm not comfortable with bringing her into the mix with my new family, but like I said, she's not in a good situation, and she's more or less stating I'd be heartless not to help her out for once. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You've already cycled between your ex and your fiancé enough. While both women have expressed a willingness to play nice with each other, things have a way of changing, and you would be setting yourself up for a very difficult living situation. If you're able and your fiancé agrees, perhaps you can provide some one-time monetary assistance. But I wouldn't go further than that. Not the a-hole. Dude, your fiancé is leaving it up to you because she is trusting you to do the right thing and not allow your ex to stay with you. Had she come right out and expressed that, she'd have been portrayed as the bad guy. Instead, she's leaving you to handle your business. Your ex has a place to stay. You're not leaving her any more homeless than if she stayed with you. Also, you have to remember that she left you because you weren't about to ignore the fact that you had a son, no matter your initial desire to be child-free with her. You don't owe her your family's well-being. That feeling that you have in the pit of your stomach telling you it's a bad idea, listen to it. Not the a-hole. Your divorce was a mess. No wonder, though. And you know she still holds resentment. It is completely understandable. Learning suddenly that your partner has a kid can turn your life upside down. Now, how do you think she would act if she sees you're having a happy family with a second kid on the way? It would remind her of the divorce and all the issues again, and things won't be pretty. It's not worth the trouble. Haha. So, my mom married my stepdad when I was 12. Both had kids. Mom had me, 25 female, and my siblings, 20 female, 19 male, 18 female. And my stepdad had his 3, 18 female, 16 male, 16 female. We lost our dad a year before. Stepdad lost his wife 3 years before. As the oldest, I blended less well than the others. I'm fine with everyone. I get along with everyone, and I have no problems. But I don't love them. I don't consider my stepdad my dad, or even as much a parental figure as they would like. My step-siblings don't feel the same way as my siblings. It's not really a big deal. I can treat them all the same and fake a bond and stuff that I don't feel, and I have no issues with any of them like I said. But I do have some boundaries. Like, I kept my last name when my siblings changed theirs, and for Father's Day, my card was always separate from the main one, because I was not okay getting a Father's Day card. It had to be stepdad. Now my mom and stepdad want to open up a family restaurant, and my siblings and step-siblings all want to be involved, and I don't. I expressed this to them as not my thing, but my mom knew I was saying no in part because of how I feel. And she told me it was making it very obvious, because I've been involved in my paternal family business since high school, and that it looks like an out-and-out rejection. I told her the simple fact is I'm not interested, and they have a lot of people already involved, so it's not like it's a big deal. She told me I'm making myself look like the red-haired stepchild, and I told her that I am a stepchild. I have a step-parent. That's not a bad thing, and it's not something I'm ashamed of. She told me I didn't have to be a stepchild. I could have another dad. I told her I could have, but didn't want that. She told me the family business wants and needs me. I asked her, since pictures of the grandparents and deceased relatives were going up on the walls in this idea, would the deceased parents be going up there too? And there was silence. My brother told me they're sad I don't want to be a part of it, and it would be such a cool family thing to have. And now my mom's words are stuck in my head. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Seriously, stay away. If you don't want to be a part of it, stay away from it. The restaurant business has a level of volatility that's unlike any other industry. It tears families apart. Starting a restaurant and making a profit from it is very difficult and easily failed. Rent is expensive and overheads are high. I can write a whole essay as to why family restaurants can fail. Not the a-hole. How many family businesses does she think you need to be a part of? And if you've had boundaries since you were 12 about how blended you wanted to be, why is she still harping on this 13 years after the fact? Clearly not the a-hole. You feel what you feel or even not. It is your choice. If it doesn't feel right to participate, then don't participate. It is only up to you. You don't need to do things just to make others feel better. Do what is good for you. I married a widower 15 years ago. He had a 4 and a 3-year-old when we met, and we married after 2 years together. Ever since our marriage began, it has been clear that I was not being asked to be the kid's mom, but a spouse for my husband, which I was fine with, though I had hoped that my husband would be open to the kids seeing me that way if they came around. He has mentioned throughout the years that his first wife had made her wishes for them to not be adopted by a new wife after her death, and for mom to be her title alone. He told me he would always honor that, as well as that she never wanted to be forgotten, and left letters and videos which we've both shared with the kids over the years. I have often wondered if some of what she wrote has made the kids feel like they would be wrong to love me, or leaves them with guilt trying to be close to me, because they do not treat me like a parent, or like a step-parent who's been present for them before they really remember. It's hard. My husband will say they care for me, but will always say I could never be their mom, and it was never on the table. He said his first wife would have haunted him if he replaced her for them. The kids are now 20 and 21, and it still feels like I'm an outsider. It feels very much like I come after my husband's first wife. My daughter with my husband also suffers because of this. She doesn't have a close relationship with her siblings at all. If anything, it's like she doesn't exist to them any more than I do. My oldest stepchild recently announced they're going to be a parent, and it was said that their mom wouldn't have wanted me to be grandma. I don't know why it bothered me so much. Maybe it was coming from my husband and my stepchild. But I told them that I'm tired of my feelings coming after my husband's first wife. They're all still mad at me for saying that. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Don't buy anything for the baby. Don't do anything for the pregnant mother. Don't do any babysitting. I don't understand why you stayed. At least tell us you've not been buying them gifts or going out of your way to take care of them and help them. Good grief, you're not the a-hole, but your husband is an awful a-hole. I get he was trying to honor his first wife, but the disrespect he's shown you in the process is appalling. Without wishing to disrespect your marriage in turn, it sounds as if he just wanted a live-in nanny or housekeeper with benefits, rather than a wife and family member. Your life sounds exhausting, and if I were you, I would be very tempted to put 2 fingers up at the lot of them and go off with your daughter. Not the a-hole. The question all along should have been, what is best for the children? So I think your husband is an a-hole for not considering how having another parent would have benefited them when they were younger. But in general, it's crappy that he married you and then created this antagonistic relationship. It's crappy that a dying woman forbade her family from having a maternal relationship with someone else. Again, it's not what was best for the kids. And now the kids think they have to continue shutting you out to honor their mother. I blame their father for that. I think 17 years is long enough to be understanding about this.